Okay, so for the third time trying to make this, I decided to go ahead and make this video. I'm going to be talking about basically how I've been noticing that the physical and mental health system is actually pretty similar. And honestly, they both kind of profit off people's trauma at the end of the day. And then, I don't know what I was about to say. But one thing I can say is that you can easily get physical health problems from the same thing you're getting mental problems from, and then they go hand in hand. And all of that is trauma and abuse, because commonly people who grow up in abusive situations get all types of physical and mental health problems. And the mental health problems can be from the physical health problems, and then it could be vice versa. And yeah, so then also it's really common for doctors to gaslight people about their health, especially if you're a female or if you're really any melanated female, because it's really common for us to just get gaslit about our symptoms. So, like, that's why there was a saying that some quote unquote black, because I don't really like the terms black and white, because, like I always say, they confuse people about who's what and who's who, but that's another story. So, like, some black lady has said, or made up the saying anywhere, like, I think this was in 2020 when she made it up, or when I first heard it at least, and it was, doctors are to, okay, wait, what was it? Doctors are to black women what police are to black men. But actually, I've noticed, which was kind of like the same thing she was saying just about, it's really like doctors will gaslight women about their health if they're African. Well, okay, wait a minute. African, Negro, Mexican, just any melanated woman, really. Especially if you're in like the Western world, because that's definitely like probably the only place where that's really gonna happen. So in the Western world, so like America, I mean, I'm sure similar things happen in Canada, but I know specifically here is what everybody's talking about. So hopefully I'll find one of the videos I was watching, because like I said, I don't know if it was on this channel, but I know on the Part 5 channel I mentioned how I was finding loopholes to get medical treatment and figure out what I've had all these multiple years. And so basically I've been finding out that I've had the textbook symptoms of a parasite. But of course, how long is this? Because I haven't even started talking about what I'm really supposed to be talking about. Okay, so of course I would get gaslit by relatives about my symptoms. But then when it comes to finally going to the doctor, the focus would always be put on something else. And that's something that I started saying years ago, even when it came to other things. Like, I think the tonsil infection, was it about that, or was it, no, the pelvic pains? But I found the pelvic pains are probably, most of that's being caused by the parasite too. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, the point is, I made up this saying, I guess it's a saying, like 2 years ago or something like that, and I was like, well, this isn't a saying really. Let me just keep going. So basically, I was like, every single time, no, that's not what I said. I was like, I have to beg to go to the doctor, and then once I finally go, the point of the appointment is switched to something else. Like, either my mom will bring up the diagnosis thing, or I'll have to bring up the whole pill thing during the Munchausen, because that's still, I'm pretty sure that's still what most of my health problems stem from, other than just the fact that I was in a really stressful situation, period. And so then, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah. Or the doctors would end up getting my mom to leave the room, and of course she'd be mad about that. And then they asked me about why she was telling them this lie and that lie. Like, I think this was like one of my last appointments, at least before I got locked up when I tried to move out last year. And the doctor had got my mom to leave the room. And the appointment was about the stomach issues and the pelvic pain, I think. That's when they brought up cellulite. I don't know if they ever tested me for it or not. But anywho, after she got my mom to leave the room, she was doing a little one of those knee check things, and then she was looking in my eyes with the flashlight and stuff, and then she said, "You don't seem schizoaffective," and I was like, "Who said that?" And the reason I said that is because I didn't know schizoaffective. Well, okay, hold up. I'll have to put this other video in the description if I even remember. I changed the name of the playlist, but it used to be called Serious Life Update, but I changed it to something else. I don't know. I think this is on the Part 4 channel, but basically, that wasn't actually the first time I heard schizoaffective being in the system. The first time was when I had to sneak to the ER because my mom's boyfriend wouldn't take me because my throat was bleeding really bad, and it wasn't supposed to be bleeding. This was after I finally got the tonsil removal surgery, because if you remember, I had a tonsil infection since before 2020, and then the defects case that happened where they censored about the 1,950 plus abuse evidence videos and got most of them deleted by my older sister and stuff. But the social worker did tell my mom that she needed to take me to get my tonsils removed. And so finally, kind of like the beginning of the next year, I finally got my tonsils removed. And then it was bleeding. And so anyway, when I was in the ER, that's when I first heard of schizoaffective being in the system. And the reason this confused me is because my mom was always running around saying schizophrenia and autism, but it seems like kind of in every situation there was a new diagnosis being brought up. But I was like, since when did schizoaffective get in the system? Because she's always running around here saying schizophrenia, autism, and now I'm hearing just schizoaffective being in the system. Or sometimes, like in that Maddie's alert from when I tried to sneak to that job interview, which was the first one, she said autism, schizophrenia, ODD, ADHD, and something else I can't even remember. So yeah, there's always something new. But anyway, okay, wait a minute, what was it? Oh my gosh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I remember now. So basically, to make a long story short, in the video I have about this, I was in the ER, and then I kept saying that the pain pills weren't working because they really weren't. But it's like I couldn't really give a good pain scale rating or whatever it's called because I just kept thinking, well, this doesn't hurt more than the pelvic pains do. So it's like I was so used to being in pain, basically, I couldn't really tell what hurts how much. And so they didn't believe that the pain pills weren't working or something because my pain rating. And then it was something I can't even really remember, but basically they thought that I just didn't want to eat because I was starving myself because of schizoaffective disorder, to make a long story short. And so that ER stay for my throat bleeding was horrific. And the thing is, when I first got in the ambulance, they didn't even want to check my throat because I didn't have parents' permission. They had to call somebody and ask them if they should even still take me to the ER because I was under 18. So by the time that somebody actually finally did check my throat, it wasn't even bleeding anymore, and it just became a blood clot. But yeah, that was a whole bunch of bull crap. But like I say, even though a lot of people in the US won't admit this, like they won't admit any of the things with the whole pro-child abuse laws, you can't get medical treatment under 18, but that's another story. So anyway, the point I was trying to make with that is, oh yeah, that's when I first heard schizoaffective was in the system, because the doctor came to me after I had been there, and they had been acting funny and weird for like 5 days, and then the doctor finally came on, I think the 5th or even the 7th day, and he was like, schizoaffective is in the system. And when I saw that, it scared me, and then I was like, I don't even know what that is, because I really still didn't know what that is, because like I said, throughout the whole Munchausen situation, I was never told what any of those problems meant. Well, quote unquote problems. I really don't even like saying that either. I was never told any of those diagnoses meant. And then it's like my mom would throw up so many different labels. It's really hard to even keep track of all the different labels, and that's why at one point I just started saying 14 plus or 17 plus diagnosis because I couldn't even remember all of them. Honestly, I'm still not even sure what all was actually put on paper and what wasn't put on paper, but that's still a whole nother story. So anyway, he was like, it's this weird disorder and my grandma has, and then he was like, well, not weird, I don't want to say weird. And yeah, so basically he seen schizoaffective in the system and got scared, and that's why they had been treating me funny, but they didn't want to tell me that. So it was a whole bunch of mess. So yeah, that was the first time, and that was, I don't even remember what. No, that was in like June 2022. No, it couldn't have. Well, no, 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 no. That couldn't. Well, let me think. Or was that June 20? I don't even remember when this was, to be truthfully honest. But it had to. It was obviously after the February. What was this? The February 17th, 2022 CPS case. So if it was June, maybe it was. Could it have been June 20? No, because June 2023. That was way too soon. I would have remembered that. I think. Or was it June? Oh my gosh, it doesn't even matter. But that was the first time I heard it. And so yeah, the point of all of that, because I probably shouldn't even mention that because it really got me off topic a little bit, but the point of all of that was to say that was the first time I heard the schizoaffective being in the system since I had been in GA at least. Or really ever, because I don't really know. I don't really think I heard of schizoaffective being brought up in NC either, because my mom was always saying schizophrenia. In fact, there was even a point in time where autism, she never mentioned autism, it was just schizophrenia. It's whatever. It's really whatever. So, anywho, I was going through stuff about the whole parasite thing. And basically, in other countries like Africa, because they know and take into account that worms are actually going to build up or could possibly build up over the course of months from getting sick or eating whatever, they actually do a parasite cleanse like every 6 months. But it's not done in the Western world because, of course, the doctors here always give out pills that give people more health issues and kill everybody, but don't actually treat anything or look into the root cause. And apparently it's even been found that people with cancer and all of those different things have parasites. And that's actually kind of what leads to this. So I found out that if what I have is specifically H. pylori, like the doctor is trying to figure out, then that would actually mean, what was I about to say? Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that would actually mean, with all the time that I've had it, and that would also mean I've had stomach ulcers, which would actually make a lot of sense. But I didn't know what a stomach ulcer was or what the symptoms of it were, so I didn't know that all the symptoms I've been having were not only for parasites but also for stomach ulcers. But anyway, that means I've been having stomach ulcers, which actually could mean stomach cancer, especially with the amount of time that I've had it. But of course, since I had to find loopholes to get medical treatment, because you can't get medical treatment under 18, which means that I have to say I'm 18, I actually wouldn't even be able to sign up for medical insurance because I don't know if that would be considered fraud or not. I'm pretty sure it could be, which is why I just didn't sign up for it, since I have to say I'm 18 to even get medical treatment. So I wouldn't even be able to get an whatever it's called, the oscopy things. I wouldn't be able to get those till I'm actually 18 because I would need medical insurance for that, because this homeless health thing wouldn't be able to pay for that. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure they wouldn't. So yeah. So I wouldn't actually be able to know how bad the ulcers got and if they led to anything cancerous or not until some months from now. But anywho, it's also really common for melanated women who have H. pylori specifically, and even, I mean, really anything, but H. pylori especially, and pelvic pains, to be gaslit or told things like if you weren't sleeping around, or different stuff like that. Like my older sister, she actually had, I forgot what it was. I think this was when she had endometriosis or something like that. I can't even really remember. But instead of the doctor checking her for the whole pelvic pain thing that she was having, he just said the usual if you weren't sleeping around thing, because they like to say crazy racial stuff like that. And so that's why I just call it the racial eugenics side of the health systems. So they'll say things like that. I remember I had a doctor accuse me of being pregnant with an STD when I was like, I think I was like 15 or something, for when I was having the whole pelvic pain issue, which I now know that it was caused due to a couple of things. Of course, a lot of it could still stem back to the whole psychotropic thing from when I was in the midst of the Munchausen situation, because it really did damage a lot of my organs because of all the different side effects. And I had the hyperprolactinemia, which not only makes you lactate, but it also causes periods that last 30 days plus. Then you won't have one for like some months. Then it causes heavy bleeding and then blood clots and a whole bunch of other stuff. And if I even remember, I'll put that video in the description where I talk. Well, it's 2 videos actually. It's 2 parts. It's a remake of the pill side effects I had, because, as you know, the first one got deleted because the whole part 1 channel got deleted after D-Fake snitched about the 1,950 plus abuse evidence videos. But anyway, so there's this right here. And so then there's this, which is a little white supremacist comment. That's the thing. People don't even take into account that white supremacy is getting all of us killed. This is why he doesn't feel like we should deworm, because he feels like our water and stuff is too clean and all that. I really hope this person was being sarcastic, to be honest, because it sounds like something that I honestly just can't even believe that somebody even believes things like this, because it's just so stupidly not true. It's really just crazy to me, because I mean, for one, you don't really know what people in restaurants are doing with their hands. They could be spitting in the food. Then there's the whole thing with the food having a lot of chemicals or GMO, to the point where in mostly white areas, they don't even eat meat. A lot of them are just vegan, or most of the people in those areas are vegan, because of the whole, I mean, not that they're not spraying stuff on the plants too. I guess that the vegan people don't think about that, but they don't eat meat because of what's put in the meat, at least. And then, like I said, the restaurant thing, they could just be doing so much different stuff with their hands into the food in a restaurant. And the whole water being clean thing, I don't even know if people even still say things like that with all the stuff that's in the pipes and in the sewer systems. It just doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, you could even just talk about what is that? The chloride thing, and then there's something else I can't remember that's in the water. But yeah, so anyway, even the doctors spread this lie along that people in the US aren't getting parasites, but actually, the thing is, I mean, the parasites are going to build up in your stomach anyway after a while. Apparently, if you don't do the cleanse every so often, which of course we don't do here, and then it's like a lot of people have them really bad parasites too and don't even know it. And so, yeah, the Western medical system and the whole white supremacy uplifting thing is really leading a lot of people to their deathbed, because they don't believe we have certain things or can get certain things because we're supposedly better, which is really obviously not true for multiple reasons. But yeah, so there's that. And then there's this. I seen this, how they banned one of the, I think it's a parasite cleanse that people used to use a lot in the Western medical system. Of course, banned it because they don't want us using natural stuff anyway, like they do in other countries. So yeah, that's what I have to say about this. I'm gonna try to find this one video of this Muslim lady talking about how she had H. pylori but was just being gaslit, which is really common. I mean, there's plenty of videos like that, but that's the main one I really remember, where the lady talked about gaslighting. So if I find it, I'll put it in the description.